Welcome, everyone, into the Smoker Fire Show. I am your host, Jack Alexander. Alongside me, as always, is Bean Walters. Owen's not a part of this episode. Owen, I know you're watching. So the reason is Owen didn't even watch the fucking game.
Nope.
What do you feel about that, Bean? Tell me a little bit about it.
The craziest thing is just it happens. I text the group chat, and then you FaceTime the group chat. You and I are sitting there watching the game.
Shot, by the way.
Yeah, you and I are watching the game. And Owen is in the kitchen, and the first thing he says to prove that he had no idea what was going on was that, man, I hate SGA. I can't watch SGA ball. And I had to break the news to him that Tyrese Haliburton hit a game winner to win it all.
Yeah. Yeah, so his first reasoning was because I don't want to watch SGA. I don't want to watch the Kobe of the 2020s. It's in the amount of hatred that he has towards that team is remarkable. Yeah. It's remarkable because this is such a fun team to watch. Whether you like the foul baiting or not, watching game one, he tried to foul bait and it was unsuccessful. It happened so many times where the Indiana Pacers, they know what to do. They've been watching this. They know everything about what's been happening with his quote unquote foul baiting stuff. And they straight up, don't move. You jump a little bit straight up. And he tries to lean into them, and it doesn't work. It happened plenty of times in this game.
It worked.
It happened multiple times. So what we're going to do today is just talk about just game one, really. Just break down what we saw, what could happen moving forward for game 2, game 3, game 4. Because this has been such a remarkable run and now this is the second time I said remarkable. Such a remarkable run for the Pacers, just this entire playoffs, and now they do the unthinkable once again, and Tyrese Haliburton has his 4th game winner or game tying shot this postseason.
It was one of the greatest things to ever that. Witnessing that live, not live, I wasn't there, but live, watching that game, seeing that happen after they've already amounted an amazing comeback. It was a very ill-advised shot. As Paul George said, that's not a good shot, but who cares if it goes in?
Yeah, he doesn't again and again and again, even though his shot is kind of he kind of shoots it like a third grader almost.
It's like what Steve Kerr said when they had looked into Tyrese Haliburton, and then I can't remember who he contacted, but he said, whatever you do not touch that shot.
What do you mean?
So they had Tyrese Haliburton was brought in by the Warriors for during that draft.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just kind of letting him run through, and Steve Kerr loved him. But taking him at, what was it, 2?
Yeah, 2.
Wasn't going to be ideal. And I want to find the quote, but if I'm not mistaken, Steve Kerr reached out to the Kings and told them, whatever you do not touch his shot. It looks ugly, but it is beautiful. It works. It goes in.
That's so funny because that same draft, I believe that was the same draft, the 2020 draft, right? And they were working out Anthony Edwards, and they were just so on everything that he did. Everything. He wasn't going hard enough. He wasn't going quick enough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And pretty much told them, hey, we wouldn't even draft you if we had the 1st overall pick. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up going and drafting one of the biggest busts in the last 10 years.
Who doesn't even play for them anymore.
Shout out James Wiseman. He's about to get his 2nd ring. What? What? Huh?
He's close. He's close.
3 games away from him getting his 2nd ring. It's like Patrick McCaw, where he went back to back with the Warriors in 17 and 18, and then he went to the Raptors and of course won 3 straight. That was the last time we saw someone win 3 rings in a row. Is
Patrick McCaw.
Out of all people, that's just insane. Imagine if he went to the Lakers in 2020. He just flip-flop between teams every year.
Wherever Patrick McCaw is who's going to win the championship, without a doubt.
Exactly. I think the first thing we should do is just kind of go over the last like 2.5-3 minutes of this game. I have. Let me play this quick. The first domino to fall outside of just the obvious run from like 6 minutes to go to like 3 minutes to go was this Nembhard shot. Of course, it's not playing, dude. Nembhard shot. I mean, sorry, Nesmith. It was the Nesmith shot.
The Nesmith corner 3.
Yeah. So we have Obi Toppin at the left wing outside the 3-point line, and then Nesmith comes up to the 3-point line to the left corner. He drives and just pretty much blocks off SGA, and Caruso has to switch over to Nesmith. But at that point, he was already in a shooting motion. But still, there was so much pressure on him, so much contest, that him making that shot is still just remarkable. That's number 3. We're only like 4 minutes into the episode, and I said remarkable 3 times already. But it's remarkable. And that was like the biggest first domino to fall. He's 3 of 7 at this point from 3.
He was struggling to shoot. He was struggling to shoot up until this point.
Yes. And another guy was Lou Dort. This is a little off topic, but Lou Dort, he shot 5 of 9 from 3, but he was 5 of 7 at one point. Like going into when was it? About 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, Lou Dort was 5 of 7 from 3. So that's what, 71%? Just like the dude couldn't miss from the 3-point line. Lou Dort had a phenomenal game. A lot of these guys did, and it was just the last like 6 minutes.
The Thunder choked heavily.
Yeah.
Like it was insane how much they went from being like this dominating defense, you know, they were really doing well on offense, and then something flipped with the Pacers, and it overwhelmed the Thunder, and they completely lost ideas on what to do.
They just don't quit. It's like Reggie Miller was saying this entire game, and he pretty much predicted of what was about to happen. It's a 48-minute team, straight up. Like, you don't beat this team until there's 0-0-0 on the clock. So the possession after, obviously we saw Shea. He went in for his drive after the Lou Dort screen, kicked it out to Jalen Williams. Let this fucking load. God damn it, dude. Okay. Yeah, so I had to back up a little bit. Cut this shit out. Pass it to Jalen Williams. Fake. Shoots up the 3. Bricks it, and Nesmith rebound. And they push it up the court with Nembhard on him. And this is the point where they get Shea on him. Yeah, so it's a screen from Nesmith, and then you get Shea on Nembhard at the top of the key here.
But this is the play where Andrew Nembhard sizes up Shea and hits the dagger in his face. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, not dagger, but yeah.
Well, that shot itself is probably I want to say it was the most impressive shot. I guess
I don't know. Even the Nesmith shot right before the possession right before this was even better.
I know, man. There's something about being a role player on a team, sizing up the league's MVP, and nailing a 3 in his face.
Nailing it. It was just a quick little 2-dribble crossover step back.
And who was it that said? Somebody said something. I can't remember the quote or who said it, but they were like, "That you only do that to someone who you know." Because Nembhard and Shea played on the Canada team last year.
Oh yeah,
they're good friends, and they're like, you only can do that to someone who you're friends with. There's no way you would just do. And Andrew Nembhard would have done that to anybody else.
It just swishes it. I mean, and then stone cold afterwards. He's just stone cold face.
Andrew Nembhard he's a different creature. He's a different animal, man. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, what a phenomenal role player. Like there's so many guys like in today's league. I know we talk about like the 90s and the 80s, or even like prior to that too. It's like there was the stars that would translate to any decade, and then a lot of people like to say that the role players are like plumbers or electricians and whatnot because they had 2 different jobs, because the league just wasn't making money. But nowadays it's not to that extreme, but a lot of these role players like Nembhard, like Nesmith, like Lou Dort, Caruso, these guys, you put them in a certain decade, a certain era of the NBA, and I'm telling you, they're going to be all-stars. I'm telling you, they're going to be all-stars.
You dropped Nembhard in the 90s, where, you know,
I'm not saying he's Clyde Drexler, but he's going to be great.
He would be okay. That's, if we're being real, Nembhard would be an all-star, in the 90s.
He's not going to be like this all-time great guy like Clyde was, but he's still man.
He's only what, 24?
He's young.
How old is he?
So another missed three from Dort. Pushes up the ball with Halliburton. This is 1:40 to go. Pass to Nesmith. He drives, and what a block by Dort at the end here. Just kind of saving the season, and then it ends up leading to Shea going on a 1v3 all the way up to the rim and makes it. So 5-point game at this point with 1:27 to go. And this is just where everything falls apart because the Thunder don't get anything after this. And I think it started right after that layup with Shea. Of course, this isn't loading again. So the Pacers bring up the ball here. There we go. Nembhard has it, and then Jalen Williams strips it, and then Alex Caruso sees the strip and goes full force at the ball. Obviously, Alex Caruso got called for a foul, but if he ends up getting this ball clean, it's a straight shot to the basket. The only guy in his way was Pascal Siakam at half court, but he would have to backpedal like on a dime to stop that guy. And even if he was running with him, I don't think he still wouldn't have got him. So that is like a key piece of the game right here, is this Alex Caruso foul with 1:22 to go. So Nembhard hits the free throws, making it a 3-point game again. 1:10 to go. Shea up on the top of the key. Screen by Wallace. He takes a drive and gets blocked by Pascal Siakam. Okay. We talk about Tyrese. We talk about Nembhard. We talk about Nesmith. These guys rightfully so. They're like crucial pieces to this run. But Pascal Siakam, man, he is probably easily, all time the most underrated player. No one talks about this guy enough.
No, I think a lot of that comes. I will say this: Pascal could be a little inconsistent, but in this playoffs, you've seen nothing but like the right play at the right time. He was actually like tearing them apart offensively in that first quarter. Like he kept them in there.
Yeah.
Because none of their bigs can really hang with him, with his athleticism. Like he's not, the fastest, he's not the strongest, but he's so shifty on the interior that like he doesn't get the credit he deserves for what he can do.
Mm-hmm. I think it was more like the third quarter when he started to pick it up more, because going in at halftime, we had TJ McConnell being their leading scorer.
He was, yeah.
TJ McConnell. He had like 13 points, I believe, something like that. It was double digits.
Finished with 9.
Oh, 9? Oh, maybe it wasn't double digits. But I think the first 9 points was in the first half. Like he was leading the team in points. But anyway, that block by Pascal Siakam, another just everything about these last 2 minutes, clutch as all hell. Nembhard at the top of the key. I think he tries to shoot a 3 here. He sizes up Wallace and tries to do it again. Pretty much airballs it, but Pascal Siakam again, he gets the offensive rebound and lays it up, making it a 1-point game with 45 seconds to go. Consistent perseverance, never backing down. Rome wasn't built in a day. Pascal Siakam, 10-2 run in the last 2 minutes, or 2.5 minutes of the game here, and then ends up being obviously 12-2 run because they hit the shot. They try to do something here. Jalen Williams tries to put it up. Missed. And then there's this foul. It's the foul at the end here where, well, it was called out of bounds on Siakam, so it's going to be Thunder ball. And then I believe Rick Carlisle challenges it here.
Correct? Yes, he challenged the call. He challenged the out of bounds call on Siakam.
And then,
it ended up, the challenge didn't work.
Thunder get it back up, 20 seconds to go, but they still have 10 seconds on the shot clock here. So obviously Indiana's going to have enough time. Shea does what he normally does, try to backpack the the entire game, the entire team when Jalen Williams is wide open at the top of the key because Nesmith comes to help. Look at that. Nesmith comes to help. Jalen Williams is wide open. He's wide open at the top of the key. And Shea does what he does, like Kobe, and tries to just take over. But sometimes you just need to pass the ball.
Yep.
Sometimes you just need to pass the ball. Because a wide open Jalen Williams at the top of the key, he hits that, the game's over. They're up 4. Wild. Because everything that the Pacers did, they did correctly in the last 3 minutes.
And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
But of course, brings it down the court, 4 seconds to go. They don't take a timeout. And it rattles through with 0.3 seconds.
Which, can we state this? Like the fact that Rick Carlisle trusts in that team so much
to where Steph Curry shit.
The biggest point of the game is where, like, we've got 4 seconds to get this done. I'm not going to call a timeout and set up a play. Tyrese Halliburton or whoever gets the ball has this covered. Where the momentum is swaying in our favor. You know, our players cannot miss a shot right now. We've been able to lock down the Thunder. I'm just going to let them play this out. And I think that is insane. Like the fact that would be if he called a timeout, no one would question it. No one would care. Like everybody would be like, that's reasonable to do, but he didn't. And it blows my mind. Like, and I think that was like one of the biggest things that the Pacers outcoached the Thunder.
I think it was entirely great. I think it was great the fact that they didn't do they didn't call that timeout, because I think it would be a horrible decision actually if they called a timeout there. Because yes, you can figure out a really good play to and of course bring up the ball past the half court line and give yourself like 6 seconds to do something with it. But then you give the Thunder, the most hellacious defense we've seen, 60 seconds to come up with a plan to do what they do best and stop them. That would have killed them. I think that would have killed them.
That's what I'm saying. Like any coach wouldn't have looked past it if he did it. Like if we're watching, we wouldn't. If he called a timeout there, nobody would be like, it's one of those things you expect. But Rick Carlisle was just like, no, my guys had the momentum. Everything is going in our favor right now. We're just going to run this out. And I trust in what they're going to be able to do. I love it. I love that this is how he decided to go about it.
Let's go back to the start of the game where the nerves were high. This is the second youngest team to ever make the finals, the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Both nerves were high, especially on the Pacers end, I think. They started off the game 0-4 and then went 4-4 after that. So it seemed like it was very quick, at least for the Pacers end, that the nerves just kind of went away, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the shot, 8 for 17. The issue that they had was truthfully just their turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just about to get into that too.
And, props to them, because with every turnover they made, their transition defense was beautiful and it kept the Thunder from scoring every time. I think they turned the ball over 24 times, most of that being in the first half, but the Thunder were only able to score 11 points, which is incredible.
Yeah, so I clocked a lot of it. So I wrote down sloppy turnovers for Indiana. 6 turnovers with 3:43 to go in the first. And then they knocked out like 2 other then they knocked down 2 other turnovers for Indiana. But at that point, so 8 turnovers. At that point, OKC only capitalized for 2 points. That's it. The first 6, they didn't score at all. And then going into the second, 4:41 to go, they have 14 turnovers. Oklahoma City had 3. They're still consistent with that. They're not turning anything over. I mean, this was all the Thunder throughout the entire game. The only time the Pacers led this game was 0.3 seconds to go in the entire game. So, and then 18 turnovers. So you went from 14 turnovers, and it's so crazy how quickly, like one after the other, that they can just turn the ball over. 14 turnovers to go, with 4:41 to go, and then 18 turnovers with 3:03 to go. So in a minute and a half, you turn the ball over 4 times. It's nuts. It's like the Thunder they're like magnets to the ball on defensively.
One of the biggest things that I kept seeing happen, especially in that first quarter, was they would dump it to Miles Turner so high up the key and make him actually like dribble the ball down low. And every time it happened and they made Miles Turner handle the ball, it was an easy turnover for the Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like
they were able to do that because they didn't do the double big lineup. Because this was the first time this entire playoffs that we saw Cason Wallace start over Hartenstein. That's what I was saying going into this. Is like they have to just start Chet and not start
like, how many
Hartenstein, and it worked for 99.9% of the game.
Dude, Lou Dort had 4 steals, Caruso had 3, and I mean,
how many blocks did Dort have? Because he had that one block with like 3 minutes
blocks.
to go.
2 blocks.
One
and Caruso had 2
blocks. Crucial too. That counts as 2 as it is, in my opinion.
Well, I also want to say this, dude. Chet sucked. Chet like legitimately sucked.
He can't handle contact driving to the rim. He's good defensively in the sense of being a rim deterrent.
I mean, he is.
He's like if Rudy Gobert had a shot.
Well, that shot ain't been falling.
No, not.
I will admit that. Let me see. I have the numbers here.
Definitely nerves for him.
Look at Chet's shooting percentage for this game,
but objectively, in comparison to Rudy Gobert, I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well that is true. But Chet had the 4th highest usage percentage for this entire game, and yet he shot. Wait, let me find exactly what I'm looking for here. His points per shot attempt is one of the worst. It is the worst. I mean,
out of the 2 teams.
Yes. He's in the 11th percentile. He's basically in the bottom 90.
Yeah.
Or no, the bottom 10. The bottom 10 for the entire game. And when he is what? I guess people want him to be their second option, or they expected him to be, and that's ended up being J-Dub, but
for now.
Yeah, he was terrible.
I mean, we were kind of saying the same thing with the Cavs. Like before this season, Evan Mobley was like the 3rd option, just like how Chet is right now. And then it obviously changed after this season here. You want to guess how many clutch time wins the Pacers have this postseason after this game?
I know they've had 1 in each series, so there's at least 3. I want to say, is it 5? 5 or 6?
No. They have 8 clutch time wins.
Okay, that makes
8 clutch time wins in this postseason, including the other night with Game 1. They're second in points per game on the road in the playoffs at 117.4 going into Game 1. They're first in field goal percentage and first in 3-point percentage coming into this game. I don't know what it is now, but
if I'm not wrong, haven't they been the best road team in the playoffs so far?
I mean, easily. You could make an argument for the Wolves, but then again, there was only. I mean, against the Warriors, they were mostly the home team. So, but with the Pacers, you went on the road against the Cavs. You went on the road against the Knicks, and obviously the Thunder too now.
And you won a lot of games that were not in Indiana.
Yes. Especially in the first quarter. Another thing for Siakam, they had Cason Wallace on him, but when you have, he's such a small defender. I don't know why they had Cason Wallace on Siakam, because it was Dort on Tyrese, and then who did they have on everyone else? I forget now. They had Dort on Tyrese Halliburton. They had Chet on Miles Turner. And then for some reason they had Cason Wallace on Siakam.
Lou Dort was on Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he was on Tyrese. Why couldn't they just have Dort on Siakam and then had
I think
Caruso on Tyrese?
I think again they were trying to do that whole let's get them to handle the ball, and then if you have a smaller guard on them, you could pick them. And at the end, in all honesty, it worked for 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Roughly, but like
Siakam was just punishing Wallace the entire
he
first
was.
quarter.
But how many? He ended with what? One turnover. Like I said, Pascal was insanely good, even though his plus minus says otherwise. Like who cares?
I think as of right now, if the Pacers win, if it was just like a 1-game thing like the Super Bowl is, I think Pascal Siakam would be the Finals MVP.
Yeah, I agree.
As of right now, obviously for the Thunder, it's going to be Shea. I mean, he dropped 38 points, 11 assists,
bro. Let's give Shea all props though. Like, dude, he had a phenomenal game.
38 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. He's 46.7% from the field. He shot 3 of 6 from 3, so he's 50%, and then 7 of 8 from free throw line. What do you know? He's not shooting an absurd amount of free throws.
And all those free throws basically came from the fourth quarter. Yeah. I mean, like, legitimately, he was getting those a little bit of the foul baiting, but also just...
Yeah, but his foul baiting didn't even work.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the foul baiting didn't work. He only got those free throws in the fourth quarter. He got 6 of his 8.
It's crazy that a guard like Caruso has the same amount of rebounds as your 7-foot center. What does that say about Chet Holmgren?
He's weak. He's weak.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've noticed, especially when offensively. Defensively, he holds his own just because he has a big-ass wingspan. But, like, offensively, he drives like he's Rudy Gobert. If he puts on some muscle this offseason,
which he needs to,
that's going to be a problem.
He needs to get on iHeart's diet.
He does.
iHeart, man, is a brick house.
Yeah, if he's the same weight as iHeart, dude, we're looking at a superstar here.
iHeart is probably like the first, second best screen setter in the league. I want to say either him or Steven Adams.
Yeah, I was going to say Steven Adams still holds reign for that. Let me ask you this. If you're the Thunder, what would you give up for Giannis? I feel like I'm willing to give up Chet.
I would, yeah.
I'm giving up, obviously a lot of picks. Dude,
it depends. Do we lose the series, though? If we lose this series, then I'm giving up everything. If we win the series, I'm staying pat.
Even if you do win, I mean, we've compared SGA to Kobe so many times throughout especially these playoffs. You go out and trade for Giannis, and we have the second coming of Shaq and Kobe. We literally have the second coming of it. It would be so entertaining to watch.
I guess like the thing that I would say like that would stir me away from that is we're already NBA champions. We're so young, and like just statistically speaking, everybody on this team will get better next year. And we have Chet, who we're expecting to take a jump. And we're, not paying him. Lu Dort is probably where he's at. There's no changing there.
No, you don't want to get rid of Lu Dort.
J-Dub is continuing to get better. And we're still not paying him. And why? I guess because if you notice, like, there's never have we seen a team except for one team right behind me that wins a championship and then completely turns things around. Unless they lose somebody that they just can't afford to pay. Well,
we're as the time of recording, this might get out after game 2. Hopefully we can get it out by tomorrow morning, but they're down 1-0. So let's talk about a scenario where they do end up losing.
Then yeah, you go trade for Giannis.
So you get Chet, 13.7, and you have 40.3 that you have to. So you're gonna probably have to get rid of Hartenstein too, because he's making 28.5. Hartenstein. So you give up pretty much both of your bigs. Cut 1.0 million.
What about Aaron Wiggins?
Ooh. Wait a minute. I think you can keep Hartenstein. You trade Isaiah Joe and Wiggins. I'm giving up Caruso before I give up Dort.
I can understand.
But imagine that big lineup of Giannis and Hartenstein. I think you got to give up Hartenstein, realistically.
If you want Giannis, yeah, I'd give up Hart.
Because that way you can keep your depth. You can keep your youth. You still have Mitchell. You still have Topic. You still have Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams.
You might have to throw in. You might truthfully have to throw in Topic though.
So with Chet and Hartenstein, well, dude, you might not even need to trade Chet. He's only making 13.7.
No, I feel like Chet would have to go because I feel like he'd be the centerpiece young guy that you want.
Yeah, I agree.
In that trade.
So,
and they have a ton of picks too, so it's not like
or they trade their James Harden and Jalen Williams.
J-Dub, I don't see them trading him, dude.
You just go through that again.
Dude, J-Dub has been he's exceeded expectations on so many levels.
I think you got to give up Cason Wallace too.
Yeah, I mean, you can really just give so many young bench pieces like that. They're really good, and you can afford to get rid of them because, I mean, if you're going to get Giannis, I mean, you have to also have to remember, like, the Thunder will still have that money. It's not like they're an insane amount of cap hell.
Yeah.
So they can still make a lot of stuff work with what they have.
Yeah, you definitely have to get rid of either Jalen Williams or Chet because those are the two guys that's going to make a lot of money. If you keep those two and Shea and bring in Giannis, I mean, we're looking at 2017 Golden State Warriors type of money where you're going to have to be in the second apron to keep that roster afloat because Giannis is making $54 million a year for the next 3 years. So it's definitely going to be Chet, especially if he continues to play how he is now. You have 2 first-round picks you can trade in 2025, 2 first-round picks that you can trade in 2026, and still keep your own 2026 first-round pick. And let's even throw in 2020, your personal 2029. That's 5 first-round picks, Cason Wallace, Nikola Topic, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Chet Holmgren. In return, you get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who says no to this offer?
No one, truthfully. It's such a stacked order. It's such a stacked offer.
Because you give up a top 4 protected Sixers pick for 2026, which is likely to stay afloat.
It should convey.
Top 8 protected first round pick from the Jazz for 2026. Does that convey or no?
What was it again? What's the protection on it?
Top 8 protection.
That's not conveying. Most likely, unless they fail in the lottery again.
You don't think in 2 years they can pull something out of their ass to be?
No, because if they keep getting sucked, if they keep getting shafted in the lottery, no, you know what? In 2 years,
2 full seasons here.
They're not the Hornets, so they can get out of.
Sorry, 1 full season. 1 full season. How are they going to do next season?
Is Trey Johnson going to? They're going to be a lot worse. They're going to be bad.
They're going to be worse than they are. Yeah,
they're going to be bad.
So that's a waste. That's a waste of a pick. So that probably won't even get traded. That probably won't even get traded in this scenario. But let's still do the Philly pick. And they have a 2029 first rounder via Denver only if and at least 2 years after Denver conveys a potential first overall pick to OKC. That's too confusing.
Oh, that's one of those that's like, if it doesn't convey this year, the next year it'll turn into top 4 protected.
Yeah.
If it doesn't convey, then it's 2 second-round picks.
Yeah. If only and at least 2 years after Denver conveys a first potential.
Okay. So that means any of the other trades they've made, if one of those picks that Denver traded that was a first-round pick conveys, then the Thunder will get that first-round pick.
Here's a 2028 first-round pick via Dallas. Swap rights. OKC has the right to swap its 2028 first-round pick for Dallas 2028 first-round pick. So,
they have
OKC has the right to swap between those 2 picks. So whatever's better, which is probably going to be Dallas's pick.
I don't know, man. Don't forget they're gonna have Cooper Flag and AD.
Yeah, they're going to be. We're talking about the Thunder here.
I mean, arguably, it'll be like going from 30 to like 24, but
at the most,
maybe.
At the most
hopefully, too. I'm praying that the Dallas Mavericks fans catch a break.
Anyways, 5 first-round picks: Nikola Topic, Cason Wallace, Hartenstein, and Chet. I think both say yes to this.
I would, if we're especially if we're fully committing to a rebuild.
I mean, you have to. I mean, that's your best offer.
I guess the only thing you can think of is like. Do what?
we never talk about the Thunder. Like, we always talk about, oh, it's going to be the Rockets, it's going to be the Spurs, it's going to be the Raptors, the Nets, the Knicks.
Well, I guess the only thing that comes out of that is because the Thunder have seemed so like
adamant about keeping everything.
Hesitant on trading for anything big. I mean, their biggest trade was Josh Giddey for Caruso last year.
Yeah.
Or, well, no, that was this year.
But if you give up 5 first-round picks, this is what you're left with.
That was last year.
With Giannis on your roster, you still have your own 2026 first-round pick. Utah's first-round pick in 2026, top 8 protected. Denver's first-round pick in 27, top 5 protected. You still have the Clippers' 2027 first-round pick, swap, which is likely to be in the Thunder's hands. And then Clippers would have the Thunder's first-round pick there.
Yeah.
2029 first-round pick via Denver. That's the confusing one. And then your own 2030 and your own 2031. So you're still left with 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 first-round picks and through 2031.
Yeah.
Which is still like a solid amount. Like, it's not like the overwhelming amount that they do now.
Or they used to have, yeah.
But then you have Giannis. Woo! We can get back to the game. Let me ask you this. How will the Oklahoma City Thunder respond to what happened in game 1? Because we've seen that it's the corner threes that they gave up, and they got cold in the fourth quarter. Everything else seemed to be great, unless I'm mistaken on one other thing.
But, like, the one thing I want to say is again, like, 44 minutes of basketball was perfect basketball from OKC. They just need to get their clutch time figured out, because I don't think I'd change anything that they were doing up until the last 6 minutes of the game. But I think all that came down to was inexperience. I mean,
yeah,
they had been to the playoffs twice. The first year they got bounced in the first round, and now their second year they're in the finals.
I mean, we're still talking about a 68-win team here, though.
But I mean, a lot of it does come down to, like, are they ready to be here? I mean, we saw Chet's inexperience get him cooked by Miles Turner and even some Thomas Bryant, not really as much Thomas Bryant, but
Thomas Bryant was good that game.
He did. He was good. But not saying that they're so inexperienced that they can't win it all. But I genuinely think in that clutch time, when you have players like Miles Turner, who's been in the playoffs before, Pascal Siakam, a former NBA champion, Tyrese Halliburton, who's had some playoff experience, Nembhard, who's had some playoff experience.
Just
remember, I mean,
Tyrese.
This team, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, lost to Boston.
Yep.
Are coming back this year with that experience of, like, you know, what we need to do against these teams.
Sorry, go on.
And with that, not saying it's going to be the make or break here. Also, Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle's championship coach. Like, we cannot forget that.
He literally is. He brought the 2011 Mavs on the greatest run of all time.
He's about to do it again. He's about to do it twice. There's a good chance he could do it twice. If anyone can do it, it would be Rick Carlisle.
I really hope they do. I love watching the Thunder, but this Pacers team is so much fun to watch.
I love this Pacers team. I love everyone there.
It's a matter of Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again throughout these entire playoffs. Throughout this entire year, even. Every single loss that they've gotten, either Chet and or Jalen Williams doesn't show up offensively. So when they're off, this team is extremely beatable. Extremely beatable. Chet Holmgren, 2 of 9. He only shot 9 times this entire game. 2 buckets. He's 22.2% from the field. He ended the game with 6 points. Jalen Williams, 31.6% from the field. 6 of 19. 1 of 4 from 3. Chet Holmgren, 0 for 1 from 3. He's not shooting. Dort and SGA were the 2 guys Thursday night. 5 of 9 from threes. He was, like I said, 5 of 7 at one point. And then it's just the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander game.
I will say I respect J-Dub for not stopping chucking shots. They weren't falling, but he kept trying at least.
Yeah, it's like the Pacers do this so well where it's like if they mess up on a drive, next play. And that's kind of what we're seeing with Jalen Williams. Chet, on the other hand, he got deer in the headlights. He got lost in the sauce. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he's my age. He's 22 years old, 21 years old.
And I think he looked like that clip of you dunking on him. I'm gonna say dunking on him, even though that's not what it was.
Certainly did not dunk on it. But yeah, that's how he played. Shit, I can score on him, literally. Literally.
The funny thing is yes, you could keep saying this because you have video proof, but
yeah.
if we saw Jack now versus Chet now,
I cook his ass, dude.
Yeah, keep that energy, dog. Keep that energy.
Hey, at some point I'm gonna 1v1 him and he's gonna cook my ass. Yep. He's 7 feet tall, brother. I'm tall. I'm 6'2". I'm tall. The brother is 7 feet tall. Oh my god. Yeah, I'd get cooked. I mean, obviously. I think that's it though, right?
I mean, yeah, there's not much. I kind of touched on everything I had to say.
Yeah, Shai just wasn't getting the calls.
Now I'm not gonna be in that whole thing of like, see what happens when Shai doesn't get his calls, because Shai still had a phenomenal game. It was just the rest of the team didn't show up.
No, if anything, it's that point, but for the opposition, it's like, hey, what do you know when he leans into the player to get his shot off, and you stay standing up and don't move? What do you know? You don't get called for the foul, and that's good defense. That's just what happens. He picks apart his defenders, especially on a downhill drive. When you have Shai, when you have your defender, if you're Shai and you have your defender on your hip, that's exactly where you want your defender to be, because it's the easiest spot to lean into them and cause a foul. It's a skill, just like what Mojo was saying in the other episode.
All props go to Aaron Nesmith, man.
Nesmith, Nembhard, Pascal Siakam. Shout out Tyrese for getting the shot off, but it was really Siakam. And
Tyrese was bad up until that one shot.
He was inefficient.
What was it RJ said?
At the same time, they were smothering him. So, I mean, there's not really much you could do. You had to lean on your other players.
All I could think of is it was so funny was the RJ quote, where he said, "If you're my best player, you can't be putting up tour dates."
Yeah.
And then like 3 seconds later, he hit the game-winning shot.
And the rest is history. So, well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of episode, go ahead, leave a like and comment. What's your predictions for the rest of the series? I think we both still have OKC in 6, but maybe it's. I think it's going to be pushing to 7 now. It's getting close to that. We're getting really close to that Game 7 type of atmosphere.
If
I think
Pacers
they can pull up 2 more.
If Pacers somehow pull off tomorrow night's game,
I got Pacers in the series.
I do too. If they could take home court, if they could fully take home court advantage, I mean, because they already have home court advantage now.
Could you imagine if they sweep them? I mean, it's not going to happen, but that'd be.
I'd lose it.
You should. They just get cold. Yeah.
If they can do it, just to like put it into people's faces, like Gilbert Arenas, who said that the Pacers being here is unfair because they don't deserve it, or it was something stupid.
Such bullshit.
It's so funny because Gilbert Arenas has never even got this close.
Yeah.
What does he know what it takes to be a championship team?
Dude, it's such jealousy there. Of course they deserve. They're the second best team since January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Like statistically, since the first of this year, it's OKC and it's the Pacers.
The two best teams since the turn of the year.
Exactly. So yeah, just let us know what you guys think moving forward. What is this series going to look like? Are they going to be able to pull this like Dirk style, even better than Dirk? Because the 2011 Mavs, they didn't go up against one team that had over 60 wins. Pacers have done it twice if they beat the Thunder. Twice. and they beat Giannis, and they beat the New York Knicks, who beat the defending champions. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So
come on, Pacers, do it. Prove me wrong.
We're also on Instagram and we're also on TikTok. So if you if you got this far, then you can handle a long form content, a long form type of video. But we're also on Instagram and TikTok doing shorts, reels, TikToks, or whatever we're talking about here. So if you want to see more clips like that, go ahead and follow those. Everything will be linked down below in the description. And we'll see you guys on the next one.